Hi there, Internet Associate. It's Anthony, and I am here again with my good friend,
Kai.
And we're about to watch another episode of Buffy the Vampire Slayer. So, this is Season 3, Episode 13, and it's called The Zeppo. So, first of all, Kai, have you ever heard of that term before?
The Zeppo? No, I haven't, actually. This is literally the first time I've ever heard the word Zeppo in my entire life.
Mm-hmm. I'm wondering if I should tell you what it means or not. I mean, because it's not like a Buffy word. Like, it's a word that already exists on its own, or at least a term.
Then, yeah, tell me what the word means.
So, it's like basically when... I think it's like the person in a group that's like, you know, considered the least important or like is left out. I guess based off of that title, do you have any predictions or anything for this episode?
Well, yeah, based off of the definition of the word you just gave me, I'm assuming it's going to be about some of the lesser known characters of Buffy, or somebody in the group that doesn't seem to matter as much. So I guess in my order of ranking, that would be Xander, because he doesn't really have anything to offer to the group. Not that he doesn't have anything. No, well, he really doesn't have anything to offer to the group. Like, Buffy is the Slayer, then Willow has her witchcraft and stuff, but Xander kind of just... I mean, even Oz is a werewolf. Yeah. So, like... And I wouldn't really consider Cordelia a part of the group anymore. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I mean, I guess that could be debated, but to me, she's not really a part of the group at this point. So if I'm looking at Oz, Willow, Xander, and Buffy, the least important one to me would be Xander.
All right, fair enough then. Well, I guess we'll just go ahead and get into it and, you know, see what it's going to be about and see if you have any accuracy in your predictions. So, yeah. This is Buffy the Vampire Slayer, Season 3, Episode 13, The Zeppo.
Previously on Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
You're fired.
That was such
That was it?
Yeah. That was hilarious.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Started right out in some action, though.
I'm good. We're fine. Just a little bit dirty.
Kind.
I hope not. They're way too fit.
So they're already setting it up to be about Xander.
Xander.
What it seems,
I
huh?
think in future perhaps it would be best if you hung back to the rear of the battlefield.
Dang, they're really just trying this,
But
man.
Mr. White, if Clark
I mean, but like,
what
what is?
will never be a
But what can he do?
I mean, no, you're right. Definitely. I mean, it's still just kind of funny. It's like, dang, they trying this, man.
And honestly, I'm not too much a fan of Xander at this point still. He hasn't redeemed himself for me.
Yeah, they're just leaving Xander out of everything. Dang, what's wrong with this guy?
What? Starting something?
Started something?
Like that Michael
I
Jackson?
was thinking the same thing.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. I guess he was too.
Over. Yeah. Remember that fun stuff?
Something exactly like this happened to one of my friends in school one time, too. We were throwing something around, and it accidentally hit this other big jock dude, and he really tried to fight.
I do.
Integral part of the group? Xander, you're the useless part of the group. You're the Zeppo. Cool. Look it up.
Oh, she feels good
There
about
was no
that,
part of
too.
that wasn't fun.
I don't blame her.
Yeah, for real.
But what is the essence of cool? Not sure. I mean, you yourself, Oz, are considered more or less cool. Why is that?
Am I?
What do I have?
An exciting new obsession, which I feel makes you very special.
Now with the mocking.
They intend to open the Hellmouth.
Stuff just got real.
The one that opens.
About 20 feet from where you're standing.
That's cool how they cut to the shot of Oz.
Opens? Do you remember the demon that
I like how
almost
he
got out the
howled.
night I died?
Yeah.
My thing. Is this a penis metaphor?
It's my thing that makes me cool.
Evil.
Big.
Biggest. Maybe more than I can handle.
Is this a
Well,
penis
let's get
metaphor?
a fop, and then I would describe myself as expendable.
She doesn't wonder who he's looking at every time he aggressively turns over and says something.
That was such an elaborate way to get in that car.
Yeah, it was. That's how the cool kids
For
do
sure.
it. Really?
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
Had a Thunderbird. Engine completely tricked out. But the upholstery was kind of shot.
Dang, she
Then I
really
started
knows
seeing his
about
friend,
cars.
You know the one.
Angel!
He's never been so happy to see Angel in his life.
Friend buddy! Something's happening. Of the importance. No. It's best you stay out of harm's way.
Dang.
Oh my gosh.
That?
You know what would be real interesting?
What?
If they really didn't even show like that much of this Hellmouth incident that they're having.
Little fender bender. It's not.
Watch it be. I knew it!
Oh my gosh.
And now he's gonna have to fight. But I'd be mad too if you hit my car like that.
Council won't even take my calls. Idiots. Anything useful in the books?
Not wildly. We still have the books of fear.
So I guess she hasn't been assigned a new watcher yet.
I'm getting it.
Frontiersman. Where do you want it? What? Where do you want it?
Here we go with the penis metaphors
Yeah.
again.
What about your car? Ain't mine.
Wow.
Great.
Oh my goodness.
Gonna get the boys!
So then that was all just for nothing? That whole knife show with Katie? Seriously. Oh, I hate it when people cut their hands like that doing rituals.
Really? I love it.
No, I mean, I think it's cool, but it's like, why cut your hand? That's gonna take forever to heal, and now you can't hold things anymore. Why not like cut a part of your arm or something? Because it's not as dramatic when you do that.
Come here!
Oh my gosh, are you serious? This is just a regular day in Sunnydale, huh?
Are all your friends dead? Xander, let's roll.
We're gonna have to push him to the edge.
Push me to the edge. All my friends are dead. Push me to the edge.
I feel like this is just typical Sunnydale shenanigans.
Yeah, it is.
Just, hey, let's go raise our friends from the dead. And in other typical Sunnydale shenanigans,
Nothing could stand in their way because tonight was the night.
I feel like this guy always finds him in the crosshairs or something.
I mean, kind of the risk you run when you run a bar for vampires.
Very true.
Let's go pick up some girls, man. We'll hang out at Taco Bell, get some girls, go cruise around.
They're gonna have to have some serious game.
I can't believe
Yeah,
you
seriously.
got shot, man.
This time of night, I'm pretty sure nothing's open.
It's open for them. Dang.
I love you, Xander.
And they playing this sad music.
You gotta die.
What? But Jack O'Toole isn't dead. Seriously?
Everybody's jumping in the car like that. I guess when you have a convertible, that's
Yeah.
just the thing to do.
And when like a monster like that is chasing you, it might make things faster.
Hold me.
Hold me.
She got me really wound up.
Oh yeah, slaying. You know what slaying does.
I'm suddenly very up.
The metaphors don't stop.
Keep your pants off.
Those two concepts are...
Oh my god.
This really escalated quickly for Xander.
It really did. Like he was just getting chased by dead people 10 minutes ago.
So they... Are you... Dang. I'm not gonna lie though, I don't feel like Xander deserves it.
Really?
Yeah.
Hey man.
Get a shower.
I think he deserves that though.
I don't know what to do.
Let me decide for
Oh
you.
my gosh.
It's like they're having this drama. And it's like I really have no context for it whatsoever.
Love you.
Do it my way, then you're.
Hey, our wheels.
What, did they think he was just gonna be like, hey guys, I changed my mind?
It's in the high school. In the school where?
Dude, you're already dead. Are you scared of dying again?
Dang.
Dang. Xander's really going off this episode though. Man, what is going on? Oh. Splat.
Little bomb. How hard can it be?
Well, it just got a little bit harder.
It just got harder.
Ah, dang.
Things dissolved.
Same thing I said.
He took your line.
Ooh. He's gonna have lumbar problems after that one. Oh, man. You wouldn't like it up there, Dan.
That's crazy.
Huh.
I'm not going anywhere, Harris. The first time you turn your back.
So much for Jack O'Toole.
Even after
But why did he even open that door?
What? What?
Well, all right. That was the Zeppo. What were your thoughts on the episode?
Well, like I predicted, as soon as you told me the definition of Zeppo, it's like it kind of basically told me it was going to be about Xander. I don't think it spoiled it for me, but it was just using logic. But there were some things I liked, some things I didn't like. I liked that. I liked the contrast between like something so serious happening, and because we really didn't get to see that much of that. I mean, we saw it like bits and pieces of it, but like it was clearly not focused on that story. And it's kind of interesting because like both things were bad and both things needed to be handled, but both things could have like been damaging to the school and Sunnydale in their own way, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So like, because I imagine if they would have gotten away with that, they would have just kept on bombing places and wreaking havoc around Sunnydale.
Good point.
So it was really like that did need to be dealt with, and Xander did single-handedly deal with it by himself. I like that. I like the because like there's always an episode in a show where it kind of goes more in depth into the side story of the supporting characters. So I kind of like the idea that I like the approach that they went with this one. It was pretty cool. I don't think him losing his virginity, I don't feel like that was earned for me. At least not at the point. At least not when it happened in the episode.
When do you think it should have happened, if at all?
I don't think it should have happened at all. But if it did happen, it should have happened after after he dealt with everything. But then I mean, I guess you could say like him losing his virginity kind of like gave him the confidence and the strength that he needed to go on with the rest of the episode.
Yeah, that definitely seemed to be one of the turning points in the episode.
Yeah.
That seemed to make him a little different after that.
When I look at it from that perspective, I can see why they did it. But I don't know. I just didn't really I didn't really like that he lost his virginity in this episode. Just personal preference, I guess.
So would you have rather it have just happened like under different circumstances, like with a different character or something like that?
Yeah, completely different character.
Mm-hmm.
I almost wish that it would have happened when he was with Cordelia.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
well, you know, Joss Whedon, he always gives things when you don't really actually want it, rather
yeah,
than
that's
like,
true.
yeah, but I don't know, but yeah. Well, so was that the only part that you didn't like, or were there other parts that you didn't like? You mentioned there was some stuff you liked and some stuff you didn't.
Yeah, I guess overall, like I'm still not Xander's biggest fan at this point. So like, I mean, it makes sense, and it makes sense for this episode to be about him, but I'm not necessarily in love with the idea of him. Like, but I also think, I don't know, I'm not really in love with the idea of him like winning something. I feel that may sound messed up, but like I just kind of I wasn't feeling it.
Well, I wanted to ask you what you felt about the end with Cordelia, where it almost seemed like Xander was getting comeuppance on Cordelia, if that makes sense, or like I mean, what you say?
I was gonna say I wouldn't say it's really him getting comeuppance, but it's really like it doesn't faze him anymore.
Yeah.
Like, so I mean, I guess if you want to think of it as like her taunting no longer phasing him, like that's comeuppance, then like in a way, yeah. But I feel like it's more so about him, like, because one thing. Well, I guess maybe I disliked and like this, but I disliked how much how hard he was trying to like be cool, and like I wanted to mention like in the middle of the episode, this is why I feel like he's not cool or he doesn't have a thing, because he always tries so hard to like impress or be cool, and I feel like it's only when he accepts his circumstance and accepts where he is and who he is as a person is when he can even take steps to becoming cool or like being okay with not being cool, which in turn what I would think would make you even more cool than someone who is like naturally cool like Oz or even Buffy, you know?
Yeah. And I mean, I would throw out to that in response to that it seems like that's exactly what the theme of this episode was.
Yeah, and that's why I said I disliked and liked it. Like, I disliked the fact that he was trying so hard, but I liked the fact that he kind of learned from that, you know?
Yeah. Oh, okay. So when you say you disliked it, you don't mean like you feel... Because when I say dislike and like, I don't mean like from the standpoint of how you felt about what the characters were doing, but more so like when you look at the episode and are judging it based on the quality of all this stuff, did you think that made it a worse episode for it? Or you're like, I don't like the character did that, but I actually appreciate it overall in the episode, and I think it...
Yeah, I appreciate... Yeah, that's what I should said. I appreciate it overall. Like,
okay, I see what you're saying now.
And I guess it just kind of takes you through. I guess when I realize when I'm watching Buffy episodes, like I feel like I end up feeling everything that you're supposed to like feel, because I feel like you were supposed to like dislike the fact. Like I feel like you were supposed to be like rolling your eyes at the fact that he's trying so hard. Yeah. Because like then it means so much more when he stops trying. You know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and when he says the whole thing about he likes the quiet and everything, and at the end there, where, they were still kind of talking to Xander like, oh, well, thank goodness you weren't there because you would have been so hurt. You wouldn't have been able to handle it is basically kind of what they were saying. And he was just kind of accepting it like, yep, you're right. I'm glad I wasn't there, because he knows that he was doing something else. And he didn't even feel the need to tell them about that because he knew it for himself. And he no longer was trying to be cool or fit into the gang in that way.
Yeah.
And what I was about to say about the Cordelia and the comeuppance thing was more so, and maybe comeuppance wasn't the right word, but I really wanted to ask like what you felt about the fact that it, and I understand why they did it for this episode, and I definitely think it worked for this episode because Cordelia had kind of been a little bit of an antagonist towards Xander in this episode. But in the grand scheme of things, it did feel a little, not weird to me, but I was just like, it feels like Xander is like making this, yes, hooray, getting past Cordelia, even though she's when it's like Xander's the one that screwed Cordelia over. He's really kind of the bad guy. But I mean,
yeah, I mean,
I get why they did it like this. I guess I was wondering if you felt like that too, like a little like, that's kind of weird, but I don't know.
For me, this kind of puts things into perspective. Like, I feel like in my opinion, at this point, I feel like Cordelia is still has this like hidden or deep-seated love for Xander that she just doesn't want to admit or accept,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So like, I feel like, yeah, because remember in the beginning of the series, like she would make fun of him and like they would antagonize each other like all the time, and they really had this like the subtext was basically like they were really attracted to each other the whole time. I think I think Cordelia still has this like this, and even if it's not attraction, I feel like it's like a miss or like a longing for Xander. So I think that that comes off as her not liking him and her like being mean. Because I mean, like, it's been I don't know what the timeline is since they've been together, but it's been some time since they've broken up at this point. Like, to me, I'm looking at it like Oz and Willow have like since dealt with and gotten back together. So like, and it's not like they got back together immediately. Oz took time to like think about if that's what he wanted to do. So like, I feel like there's been some, and I'm not saying that Cordelia shouldn't be mad, but I also think that it's at this point it's grown from her just being mad and being upset about it to being like to being more so like I kind of miss Xander, but just don't want to admit it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's interesting. I guess we'll see where they're taking that as the season and series progresses and all.
But I should preface that by saying, like, I also don't think that means that they're going to get back together.
Yeah, although if you prefaced it by saying that, you would have said that before.
Yeah.
Oh no, I'm sorry.
I'm just
I know
retroactively prefacing what I said with what I just said.
I'm just being a jerk. I didn't need to even point that out. I was just
no,
playing.
it's fine.
I mean, I know you, but I know you know how I play around. But anyway, so I guess in my overall thoughts of the episode, I definitely really enjoyed this episode. Like, I actually definitely remember this episode from my first watch through. And it's also an episode that I've come back and rewatched multiple times. So it was actually one that I was really looking forward to getting to when we watch the series now. And one of my favorite things about the episode, just from a writing standpoint, is looking at how they totally flipped the usual format of how an episode of Buffy or any TV show is presented in terms of the A story and the B story. Like, obviously, as we know, this focused more on Xander than everybody else, and it was a type of episode where a different character was like the main event than the character that is usually in the spotlight. And that's been done on other TV shows too and stuff, and it's usually cool when that happens. But what I really liked about how they did it here was not only did they kind of focus it on Xander, they still allowed the other crazy stuff that would usually be happening to still be going on. It was even crazier than more so in this case. And I just thought it was so funny how the stuff that would have usually been the A plot and the stuff that would usually be the B plot totally inverted. And we were just kind of peeking in and out every now and then in those super dramatic moments of the Buffy side of things while we were following Xander the whole time. So I love just walking in on Buffy and Angel when they were arguing, because it felt like the show was making fun of itself.
You're right, because typically, that's what I was thinking, the exact same thing. Like, because typically we're seeing, like, we see that whole conversation, like from start to finish, and I think I mentioned at the beginning of the episode, like, it would be really funny if, like, they really didn't show what was going on as much as they normally do, or like if they really focused in on Xander's story. And it was kind of interesting because they really did make you think like that was going to be the A story. But because when it came in, like it started on that. So I was thinking, oh, okay, so obviously we just have like a typical story about the Hellmouth opening up and something that they have to stop. Yeah. But like there was not that many like many plot points, and it seemed like every time they went to it, it was just they mentioned like something about Xander like not being there.
Exactly, they would always mention Xander, and it would always come across in this almost sort of like parody type way where you could tell they were poking fun at the usual tropes and standards of the show. Like I said, with Buffy and Angel doing their whole thing, their melodrama, or like, after the fight when they were talking about that was the bravest thing that I've ever seen. Oh, and I've never seen anybody do something that difficult. It's like we don't even know what they're talking about. But it's like in a usual episode we would be like, oh wow, that was crazy. But here it's like they're just poking fun at all this bravest stuff ever and like this crazy stuff they were going through, and this is the end of the world. I would ask myself, how do I want to spend my last night on Earth? I just thought it was so cool how they just brought all these super dramatic things up, and they were just totally on the periphery and didn't really matter at all in the context of what was really important for the episode. So I thought that was so cool. So that's why I really like the episode.
Pretty funny. I enjoyed that aspect of it too.
Now we enter the fun fact part of the reaction. The multi-headed demon is the same one that appeared in the library when the Master's Ascension opened the Hellmouth in Prophecy Girl. Interesting. Nicholas Brendan cried when he read the script for this episode because he was so delighted with it and its meaning for his character. I bet that was a cool feeling, because this seems like the type of episode where you're like, maybe my character is finally getting some growth. Because, Xander's the type of character where people get plenty of reason to be frustrated by him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Okay, Cordelia calls Xander the Zeppo in reference to Zeppo Marx, the straight man among the Marx brothers, and long considered to be the most unexceptional member of the act. So that's the exact source and origin of Zeppo.
Interesting.
I was cooling in Sunnydale. Listen to this funny tale about two kids that reacted to the Buffy's well. I dust a vamp just for fun these days. Now they never come around cause I always stay
staked up, and you play sus at the top like the anointed one. And